According to the bylaws, this obstruction is a direct violation. You have 24 hours to remove this snow, or you will be facing a substantial fine.
I've lived in Maple Ridge Estates for just over 12 years now. You know the type of place, suburban America at its most predictable. Neatly trimmed lawns, beige houses with different shades of brown shutters, and an HOA that believed it was the final authority on absolutely everything. When my wife, Karen, and I bought our home, it felt like a win. Quiet street, good schools, friendly neighbors. The HOA bylaws were thick, but nothing seemed unreasonable at first. Mow your lawn, don't paint your house neon green, keep trash cans out of sight. Fine. I paid my dues, waved at the board members, and stayed out of trouble. For a long time, things were peaceful. Then winter came. And with it, Diane Mercer. Diane was the HOA president, a woman in her late 40s who treated the neighborhood like her personal kingdom. Perfect blow-dried hair even in a blizzard, always wrapped in a long wool coat, clipboard in hand. She had a way of smiling without warmth, the kind that made you feel like you were already in trouble. The first winter she took over, she rolled out a new, community snow management initiative. That should have been my first warning. At the annual HOA meeting, she stood up and said, "To keep our streets safe and accessible, we've hired a private snow removal company. They'll be plowing after every snowfall of more than 2 inches." Someone asked, "Where will the snow go?" Diane smiled. "Oh, we have a plan." I remember thinking, great. At least the streets will be clear. I had no idea I was the plan. The first big snowstorm hit in January. Overnight, we got nearly 8 inches. When I woke up, I could hear engines outside. Plow trucks. I grabbed my coffee and looked out the front window. And my stomach dropped. Every single plow on the street was dumping snow directly onto my driveway and the side of my front yard. I couldn't believe it. I threw on boots and a jacket and ran outside. One of the drivers was reversing, dumping another load right across my driveway entrance. "Hey!" I yelled, waving my arms. "What are you doing?" The driver rolled down his window. HOA instructions. Snow storage zone. Snow storage zone. I said. "This is my driveway." He shrugged. "Take it up with them, man." And just like that, he drove off, leaving a frozen wall of snow nearly 4 feet high blocking my car in completely. I stood there in disbelief. That's when my phone buzzed. An HOA email. Subject, Winter Operations Update. Please be advised that per HOA Resolution 12B, designated snow storage areas have been assigned for community efficiency. Attached was a crude map. A red shaded area. My property. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I called Diane immediately. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Oh, hello," she said cheerfully. "Diane," I said, struggling to keep calm, "why is the HOA dumping snow on my property?" There was a pause. Then, "Well, Mark, your lot is at the end of the street. It's the most practical location. You didn't ask me." "It's common area adjacent," she replied. "No, it's not," I said. "That's my driveway. My land." She sighed. "Mark, it's temporary. Everyone has to make sacrifices." I looked at the wall of ice blocking my car. "So I'm just trapped?" "You work from home, don't you?" she said lightly. "It shouldn't be an issue." That's when I knew. This wasn't about efficiency. This was about control. Over the next 2 weeks, every snowfall ended the same way. Snow piled higher and higher on my property. Ice chunks. Dirty slush. Frozen debris. I couldn't get my car out without hours of shoveling. Once, I slipped and twisted my knee. Another time, my mail carrier refused to deliver because the mailbox was buried. I emailed the HOA. No response. I sent photos. Silence. Then came the notice. HOA violation. Failure to maintain property appearance. Snow piles exceeding acceptable height. They fine me for the snow they dumped. That's when I knew I had to fight back. I started digging through the HOA bylaws. Every page. Every footnote. That's when I found it. Section 8.3, Material Displacement and Obstruction. No homeowner or HOA agent may relocate materials in a way that obstructs access to any residence or roadway. Section 10.1, Liability for property damage. Any damage caused by HOA operations shall be the responsibility of the association. And my favorite. Section 11.6, Snow and Ice Removal. Snow removed from common roads shall not be deposited onto private property without written consent. I sat back and smiled. That's when I knew I had them. But I didn't confront Diane right away. No. I waited. The next storm was the biggest yet, nearly a foot of heavy, wet snow. And like clockwork, the plows came. This time, I recorded everything. Video of the trucks. Time stamps. License plates. When they finished, my driveway looked like the entrance to a glacier. So I did something different. I shoveled. Not to clear my driveway, but to move every ounce of snow back where it came from. Right into the HOA's precious street. Perfectly within the lines. I piled it high. Neatly. Blocking nothing but creating a massive ridge exactly where the plows had scraped bare pavement earlier. By morning, the street looked like a frozen dam. At 7:12 a.m., my phone rang. It was Diane. "What did you do?" she screamed. I couldn't believe what she said next. "You sealed the entire street." I replied calmly, "I returned the snow to common property. As per bylaws. That's not allowed." "Actually," I said, flipping pages, "Section 8.3 says you can't obstruct access to my residence." "Which you did." Repeatedly. She sputtered. "This is ridiculous." "I agree," I said. "Which is why I documented everything." Silence. "Then, you'll hear from our attorney." "That's fine," I said. "Mine's already looped in." 2 days later, I received a certified letter. Not from the HOA attorney. From the city. Someone had reported the HOA for improper snow disposal and obstruction of emergency access. Turns out, piling snow onto private property violated municipal codes. And blocking the street? A serious offense. The city inspector showed up that afternoon. Took photos. Asked questions. Diane tried to explain. He wasn't impressed. Within a week, the HOA was fined thousands. They were ordered to remove all snow piles from my property and repair damage to my lawn and driveway. And the fines they'd issued me? Voided. Publicly. At the next HOA meeting. I attended that meeting. Front row. Diane stood at the podium, pale and stiff. "We made some mistakes," she said. Someone in the back muttered, "No kidding." She cleared her throat. Effective immediately, snow storage will be relocated to approved municipal zones. I raised my hand. "Yes, Mark," she said tightly. "I just want to confirm," I said, "that private property will no longer be used without consent." Her jaw clenched. "Correct." The room applauded. 3 months later, Diane resigned. No announcement. No farewell email. Just, gone. Spring came. The snow melted. My lawn was repaired at HOA expense. And the street? Clear as ever. Sometimes, when winter rolls around again, I see the new board members double-checking maps, nervously asking for written approvals. And every now and then, someone asks me if I regret causing trouble. I tell them the truth. I didn't cause trouble. I followed the rules. And in a world full of entitled power trips and crooked decisions, sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's documented. Never assume authority means correctness. Know the rules. Stay calm. And remember, the same policies used to bully you can become the tools that protect you.